So we have very little control over our healthcare, right? So we're going to combine two industries today in this presentation, machine learning and healthcare. And so most of the time, if you get sick, you have very little knowledge and understanding about what you're supposed to do when you get sick, right? You just go to an expert. And even the experts, they're not in complete control. They're only part of the healthcare solution, right? So machine learning and artificial intelligence actually is going to play a big role in giving you better healthcare outcomes, right? So our health is extremely complex, and we are just starting to actually really understand how complex our health is. There's a big industry actually that's emerged called bioinformatics. Venus University is actually one of the pioneers in this field, and NVIDIA, the company I was just describing, actually did a deal with Venus University to help them apply machine learning in that space, right? So we have lots of cells. Our cells and our DNA and the different organisms within our body are actually continuously exchanging information, right? They're moving at a much, much faster rate than you can imagine, right? So the management of healthcare is a very important piece. And so we're going to talk about the different aspects of healthcare that machine learning can very easily make a very big impact, right? So data and data analysis is the key to healthcare, right? Whenever you go to a doctor, they're taking your blood pressure, they're taking your temperature, they're taking your blood and analyzing it in the lab, they're writing notes, right? Your doctor is actually trained. They go to medical school to sit and observe you, right? So doctors are trained to observe you, right? Does anybody see like medical TV shows like House, right? Do you guys know that show House, right? No? There's a lot of medical TV shows where the doctor is observing you and they're making all kinds of decisions based on what they see about you, right? So sometimes if the white part of your eyes is a little bit yellow, maybe there's something wrong with your liver, right? Or my mom is a doctor. She can tell just by looking at me, oh, you're dehydrated, just by the way your face looks, the way your skin hangs. So a lot of medical training is visual, right? In addition to all the other data that doctors use and nurses and other people. So healthcare is extremely complex, right? So everybody doesn't have a personal doctor, right? I was very lucky. My mom was a doctor, so I would easily talk to a doctor anytime I wanted to, right? But most people don't have access to a super high-level doctor, right? And most people don't. Hey, how are you? You here for the event? Yeah. Can you grab a chair from there and bring it in? Okay. So most people don't have access to a doctor. There's a lot of it's usually on average like one doctor per 1,000. You could just keep sitting where you're sitting, and he'll sit in the back. So what would happen if we could fundamentally change our understandings of disease, right? And change the way we deal with drugs, including drug discovery, other areas, right? So right now, AI in healthcare is a very, very small industry. It's very, very tiny. This number, it seems like a big number. This is actually a very, very small slice of the healthcare industry, right? The healthcare industry around the world is in the trillions, right? So this is like less than 0.001% or something. It's not a lot of money, right? These are the kind of areas that we think that AI can have a big impact, and I will show you the new companies that are starting to work in this space. Diagnosis, prediction, drug discovery, medical imaging. Our company is doing something in this space. Cancer research. Yeah, have a seat. Hey, how are you? Wow, it's getting packed. Where can AI help, right? There's a lot of areas of prediction that AI can make a big impact. So how are we going to get there? It requires a lot of data science. It's going to require a lot of compiling of this information, right? So one area of healthcare that AI can focus on. So machine learning, artificial intelligence has a lot of different subfields, right? One big field is computer vision. Another field is natural language processing. And there's all these other fields, right? Deep learning, neural nets, neural lace, these other areas, and they're overlapped, right? They're not in silos. So do you guys know, has anybody used artificial intelligence in their daily lives? You have, but I'm wondering if you recognize it. Has anybody used Alexa or Siri? You use Siri? Okay, so that's natural language processing, right? So what is the role of natural language processing in healthcare, right? So when you go to your physician, how do you communicate what's wrong with you? Your doctor will ask you questions, right? And you respond to the questions, right? So that means that one level of the information is exchanged in words, right? I didn't sleep well, it burns when I pee, my back is hurting, I have a headache, right? So you're describing what you're feeling, right? And so that's one area. The other area, obviously I told you, is visual, right? And, okay, so you're saying what you're feeling, and your doctor is one of the ways that they're recording it is they're recording your symptoms, right? And there's a lot of, all that is recorded in files and charts. Right? And so there's a lot of areas where researchers are showing that we can apply machine learning just to the old files. Right? So, for example, here are two different examples. By combining NLP and radiology reports, which is the reports on the X-rays or CT scans, these researchers were able to show new specificity, right, with finding new diseases. Right? This researcher was at the University of Alabama found that when you combine NLP with reportable cancer, there was a 22% more accurate diagnosis than manual records. So what that means is 20% more diagnosis when you were able to apply machine learning to recorded data. Right? So right now the process is that a doctor will record the data and then they will analyze it and they're looking at it, right? But machine learning is able to make connections that one or many doctors are not able to make, right? That's just one example. This is a paper that recently came out, right? So natural language processing, these researchers were in France. NLP to detect risk patterns related to hospital-acquired infections. So a huge percentage of people who die when they enter the medical system is actually from secondary infections or other infections. So if you don't have to go to a hospital, you really shouldn't go to a hospital because that's a locus, it's a center of diseases, right? And so in this report, I just read this one, developing tools to parse patient records in order to automatically detect signs of possible issues. So they were able to analyze just the written records to find infection rates and take preventative action, right? So you can apply machine learning to existing things and have huge impacts, right? So a lot of it has to do with getting access to the data and then using very, very simple machine learning techniques to have huge outcomes. So if, for example, any of you ever you learned how to do machine learning and knew how to do some basic stuff, you could have a huge impact on people's lives by applying it to existing data sets. And here the data sets are records. Does anybody know what this is? Yeah, Apple Watch. I have one here. Right? One time I think I was watching a movie and the Apple Watch told me my heart was racing. Right? This happened. This was released today. This is a report. I took this today. The Apple Watch told a teenager who was in church. The teenager was just in church, and it told her her heart was racing at 190 beats per minute. But a lot of times your heart will race and you don't know it, right? It was just detecting her heart racing, and she didn't have any symptoms. She had a little bit of a headache. And a little bit of her breathing was a little bit short, but sometimes you're feeling a little bit of something and you don't know. It told her that her heart was racing, and they went to the hospital and she found out she had kidney issues, right? Kidneys are those two shaped things. and she was suffering from kidney failure. Now, this is something that almost would never happen without that Apple Watch. You're not going to self-diagnose. You're not going to really know what's going on often. So this is one example. This was just released today, right? This is a second use of the Apple Watch, right? By using the heart rate sensor on the Apple Watch, they're able to collect data on large groups of people, right? And so those large data sets are able to help train Apple's AI, and they are able to just associating heart rates with AFib, which is a type of heart issue. They were able to detect these type of issues. So the AI was able to detect these type of issues just by applying, training their AI on large data sets on the Apple Watch, right? And they don't have a lot of sensors here. They have a few small sensors. I think here they use an LED light to detect the amount of blood flowing through the wrist. But just remember, combining it with AI algorithms. So this other company also uses the Apple Watch, and it's called a LiveCore. But here, this is not a normal Apple Watch. My Apple Watch has a regular plastic band. They have a specialized band for heart patients, and the band has another sensor that does EKG. An EKG used to be a huge machine. It used to be a big machine that doctors used to have to do to get these results, right? And right now, this can be read by a computer much better and more accurate than what a doctor does. Because historically, in the old days, the doctor would put the sensors on, it would print this, and then the doctor would read it, and then they would maybe make notes. This is taking it all the time, and it's more accurate and better than what a doctor can do, because a doctor is limited by all the information they have, and they have to process that information on the spot. And they're not going to give you 24/7 time, right? They're looking at you in one small snapshot. This is monitoring you all the time, and it can make proactive predictions. So the AI can help the Apple Watch predict blood pressure, high blood pressure, and sleep apnea. They can also have an accelerometer, right? So the way you move when you're sleeping, it can detect, are you sleeping properly? Sometimes when you sleep, you might not breathe properly. It can even detect that based on your movement and your heartbeat, right? So that was just one area in healthcare in wearable technology, and we have a whole presentation we do on wearables. Now let's talk about regular paperwork when it comes to the healthcare industry, right? So this was a report came out last month or 2 months ago from Harvard Business School review. They think that there is 14% of healthcare spending just in the U.S. This is just based in the U.S. is wasted just because of paperwork issues, right? So a lot of times prescriptions are not recorded properly. A lot of times you miss your appointment because something is written wrong. All kinds of little issues regarding regular paperwork. And applying machine learning to this space is a very, very easy problem to solve. So there are, even right now in the U.S., to get different medical systems pushing paperwork around in medical systems for one company, they still send 120 million faxes. Probably most of you in this room have never even used a fax machine in your life. Has anybody used a fax machine? You use one? Yeah. Are you old? How old are you? Yeah. So I've used a fax machine a few times in my life, but this is an old technology, and so it's still being used. So the FDA regulates healthcare in the U.S., and the new chief of the FDA, Scott Gottlieb, he's very bullish on AI in healthcare, right? So they are trying to reduce the barriers to innovation in this space. This is just in the U.S., right? So what they're doing is normally when you create a healthcare product or service, you have to go through a lot of approvals so that the government will allow you to do something on people's regarding people's healthcare. But a lot of things that have to do with software and hardware when it comes to the consumer products are continual improvements on an existing thing. So for example, when you have an app on your phone, every 3 months or 4 months maybe they will send an update and they will make the app better. They will get rid of bugs, they will make it have new features, but the fundamental software is not changing, they're just making small improvements, right? But in healthcare, when you try to put something new in, historically you have to get the government to approve it and it takes years, right? So the FDA is trying to make a special type of regulation to make the healthcare system more like the iPhone system, where with the iPhone, you're not making a huge change, you're just changing a little bit and improving it, so they will let you do that. And this is a big impact because the goal with AI is you're learning through the data, right? You're training the AI that you build to be smarter and better over time, so you're going to have lots and lots of little improvements. So 1 or 2% improvement every month is a huge change, right? So most people don't understand the compounding, the exponential effect from compounding improvements, right? So if you make a couple % change improvement every month, it's a huge change. So this is one organization that's also applying machine learning to their electronic health records, right? So I've never been to the hospital, thank God, in Indonesia. What is it like? What's the healthcare system like? Is your files in a paper form or is it electronic?
I think it's still in the paper.
Do you hold it or does the doctor hold it?
I hold it.
You hold it and you take it around?
Yeah.
What happens if you pass out?
I don't know.
You don't know? Yeah, I don't know either. So I've been in the healthcare systems in different countries. I think in this country, the healthcare system is less developed, so there's more opportunity to skip the old style, right? So there's not a lot of in the U.S. system, there's a lot of existing institutions. And so those older institutions, they have a system that kind of works already. It's just very expensive. So to innovate in that area is harder. But in a system where most people don't have very good healthcare, you can leapfrog the old system. It's the same way why mobile phone adoption has gone from like 0 to like 50, 60% in very, very short time in Indonesia. Or Gojek and Grab have become huge companies very quickly because the existing industries are not here. Most people didn't already have cars, right? So Gojek and Grab was from 0 to a huge change. Whereas when you have an existing industry, there's going to be a lot more change. So it's moving a little bit slower, I think, in my opinion. These innovations have the opportunity to move much faster in Indonesia compared to the U.S. in some areas. This company focuses on electronic health records to digitize all your health records. They have an app that helps doctors to just track you, basically. And they're applying machine learning to this space. Now, I talked about NLP, which is basically like Jarvis, right? You're talking to it, Siri, Alexa. What about computer vision? Most people really don't appreciate the impact that computer vision is having. How old are you?
28.
28? How old are you? 30? I think I'm the oldest guy in the room. I'm 35 years old. So when Facebook first came out, I would take pictures of my friends and tag their faces, right? And say, this is David, this is John, this is Nadia, my sister. And then it would ask my friend, do you want this picture to be tagged with your face? They would say yes. So then I tagged a name and a picture. Remember I told you how machine learning works. You 10,000 pictures of dog, 10,000 pictures of cat, and then the machine will know. So when you start tagging your friends, you're training Facebook's computer vision, right? You're training their AI. Now, when you take a picture of your friends Facebook already knows everybody, right? It already tags them automatically. That's because the older people started training, and then now the new version of Facebook basically automatically does this. This process is the same in every area. Everything that humans can see through training, computers can see. And right now, it's not really, most people don't quite appreciate what that means, right? So, in the healthcare industry, so what does cognitive computing allow, right? So we're seeing a lot of investments in healthcare. Here's one area. I don't want to gross you out, right? But remember I said there's a lot of different parts of diagnosing a problem. First, a doctor will look at you, and you will also tell them what's the problem, and then they will also take data, your temperature, your blood, they will take samples, right? Maybe if you have skin cancer, they will cut it and analyze it under a microscope. A lot of data can be collected in different ways, but vision and NLP are two of the big ones. Now this one is, excuse me, I'll just turn this off. This one is an example that dermatologists in South Korea use computer vision to train their AI to recognize a certain kind of fungus using 50,000 images now of toenails and fingernails. And so they're going to train the AI to recognize different things. And this is possible not just in this one disease, right? It's possible in a lot of different diseases, and I'll show you later, right? So, for example, their AI out of South Korea beat 42 of the best dermatologists in the world. Just one doctor beat one of them. So basically the AI is already, only from 50,000 images, better than all the doctors in the world. The best of the best, right? And there's a lot more than 50,000 people in the world. So if you take that level of expertise and multiply it times, if you had maybe 100,000 images, you could get even better. If you had 1 million images, you could get even better. So AI offers a hope for depression treatment. So this is a study that shows it's kind of analyzing what did they do here? I can't remember actually. It just took place. Oh yeah, so this is actually an NLP one. This slide should be an NLP. We'll just move on. This is one where they created a deep learning engine to analyze CTs, MRIs, to detect lung, liver, heart, and bone disease, right? You can search X-rays. This company, Zebra Med, right? And this is for real. So right now, a big industry, big segment of the healthcare industry are radiologists. They sit and read. Their job is to use their eyes to look at an image and process it. And the computer helps them a little bit, but they have to use their trained eyes on this. Now, computers are much, much better than humans at this task. So that's one huge industry that's gone. So our company does this. We have 3 products, and one of them is our AI healthcare product. Right? So we have trained on NIH data to read X-rays. Right? And this product is live. I won't show you the website. You can test it on. We launched it 2 days ago. It's ready to. It's working. Right now, we have trained it on pneumonia. Right? But we're also going to train it on the other diseases here. Right? So one thing that you can do is if you have a data strategy and you have access to data, you can train your system to recognize the diseases just using computer vision techniques. This is a video. We won't show this one. So now, what is the point of this exercise? So our company basically focuses on getting people in this space. These are some of the jobs available if you are a machine learning engineer. The pay is quite high. These are U.S. market rates, right? And these salaries keep going up. AI positions, this is about a 6-month-old slide, but basically AI research engineers, the jobs are going crazy in this space. So how much do machine learning engineers earn per hour? Usually somewhere between I would say minimum $100 to $200 per hour, right? So you can see here in France, $55 an hour, $50 an hour, $117 an hour. This guy is in India, France. This person is Romania. They earn $125 an hour. So if you know this technique, right, so you spend your time writing in PHP, React, right, you're going to work super hard, right, to do your job. I promise you your boss is going to make you work hard. But if you are working very hard in a high-end field, in the newest technology, you're going to get a lot more pay per hour than if you were working hard in a low-end field. The same person can shift their attention to a high-end field. So that the training and the knowledge required to do machine learning is not much harder than programming. It's a different field, right? So machine learning is different than programming. You need to know some programming to do machine learning, but it's a different field. But the power of this technology is very, very strong. You can see here, these are the different areas, the job skills. Andrew Ng is one of the fathers of machine learning. He runs, I think, Udacity or Coursera. I think he worked at Google and then Baidu for a while. You know Andrew Ng?
Yeah.
Where's his course at?
I think
Coursera?
Coursera.
Yeah, so he said 100 years ago, electricity transformed the whole world. Basically, AI will now do the same. So that's the power of what we're talking about. It's so powerful, and most of the companies and products have not been invented. Anybody who knows how to do machine learning, we can't stop thinking of ideas to use it, but because we're humans, we can't chase every idea. We're limited. We have to chase a few. So our company has chased like three ideas, because we're not a huge company right now. So we chased the computer vision in healthcare, the X-ray and the image reader app. We have another real estate app that uses computer vision for real estate and other machine learning techniques, and we have a cybersecurity app. But for you guys, you are coming from different industries, and a lot of your industries will be decimated by machine learning. So there's an analogy. When Uber came out 7-8 years ago, the taxi medallion in New York, if you wanted to have a taxi in New York City, the license to have it cost $1 million, and big investors would rent out this license to taxi drivers, and because it limited supply and you had a monopoly of customers in New York City. When Uber came out, the price of that medallion collapsed 90%, right? Because they now have competition. The same kind of thing is happening in every industry all the time, and machine learning is really going to start doing that, right? So how do we fit in? We have a boot camp. It's a 4-month course, track 1. This is the one we have for Jakarta. Actually, the class is going on right now in the other room. When you leave, you can go peek in. The teacher, Joni, he's teaching that class. That is batch 2. We are launching batch 3 in 1 month. And this is basically to take you from 0 to like intermediate level. And we require that it's basically like 3 university courses combined. So boot camps means it's very intense, right? So it takes about 4 months, Tuesday, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The next one is in a month, and it's in D-Lab in EV Hive, about 10 minutes from here, near Grand Indonesia. And Joni and Afif will be the teachers there. Joni has his own company. Afif works at Bukalapak. He focuses on computer vision. Joni focuses on NLP. Joni and Batch 1 students are right now working on trying to create a NLP for Indonesia. Right? So right now there's no real strong NLP for Indonesia, and they're trying to make it. He was telling me he needs like 20 people to make it to the next level. So the opportunities are huge. We also have our community chat, right? So our community chat is another layer. Right now it's free, and the chat will always be free. So I think right now Google estimates there's 10,000 machine learning engineers in the world. 500 of those 10,000 are on our chat program, and we only had the chat program out for I think a month and a half, 6 weeks, something like that. So it's growing very fast. And one of the main reasons is there's lots of chat systems in the world, but ours is focused only on AI, and we use it only for experts to identify other experts, and we regulate it, so that people are only talking about AI in this space. And this is very useful because when you're trying to, basically every company and every person right now in this era in machine learning is inventing new knowledge, right? So anything that you do in machine learning will be the first or one of the first people. So every kind of idea that people chase, you're usually the only one, or maybe 3 or 4 other people in the whole world are trying to do that. So our X-ray app, there's like 5 other companies in the world that are really trying that. 1 is in China, 3 are in Harvard, MIT area, a couple in some other places, and us here. And we have offices here and in Pakistan and in Germany and in America, right? So these chat systems allow you to find other people with different skills to help you go to the next level. If you're a bootcamp student, you get the normal chat, but then you get another layer, which is all the materials and everything, and you're identified as a student. So people who want to know that you definitely have one skill or another, they will find you in this chat platform. And then we have a third layer, which is for the incubator. So once you are done with the course, we have an incubator, which basically is the main reason why we do this, which is to encourage you to build your own companies, and then you will find other people in the course, and you build your own company, you pitch us your idea, we will take a piece of your idea and help you launch your company, right? So we will help you to launch your company through our system. You also have a marketplace where you can sell your skill. I was showing you the different sales things. This is really just a good way to make some side money. We encourage people, if you really are a machine learning engineer, you should really make a company. If you work for other people, you'll make some money, but you will always be just in the middle. You're not really going to go to the next level. This is a side company we do. If anybody wants machine learning work, we would do it under this name because we don't want our name on other people's ideas. Okay, so when you're done here, I encourage you guys to go to our website and join our AI community chat profile if you're interested in AI. If you're not really interested, then don't. You can also download our syllabus here. This is our company, Evolve, and we encourage you guys to participate. Our main goal is to get people to shift their focus from whatever you are doing, right? We spend a lot of time and effort to find you. We know you have the ability to do this. Now, our main focus is on getting you to shift your energy from whatever you spend your time doing to this industry, because there's a lot more opportunity if you go to this industry. Once you are trained in machine learning, then we can find some things to make money from. So right now, our bootcamp is designed to train you for commercial-ready products. If you are, it's usually like it's hard to know exactly, but we estimate like 1 in 100 people can learn online directly. So if you have the ability to just learn directly online, it's much cheaper and faster to go to Udemy, Coursera, or some of these other online, MIT. They have online courses and you can learn online. But most people, if you're not able to do this, do a boot camp and then you will learn from the teacher, you learn from your material, you practice, you get somebody to critique you, you learn from the students next to you, then you learn from the online community because you don't want to be limited by who's in your room. You want to have access to the global community. So we're trying to add tools to allow you to shift into this space. Right? And if the universities already did this, then we wouldn't do this. We would focus just on the startups. But right now, in 2018 in Jakarta, the universities are not really teaching machine learning. Most of the world doesn't really have this knowledge right now. Right now, it's Silicon Valley, London, and Shenzhen, China, 3 main areas where all of this stuff is being done. And the big issue is actually the people who know how to do this. First of all, the technology is brand new. The people who know how to do this are not teaching it. They don't have any time to teach. They're almost 100% focused on building their own stuff, right? And the other problem is that the companies that are really good at machine learning, they are not releasing this information. They keep the information locked up inside. And the engineers who work at these companies, they still sometimes release white papers in research papers about what they're working on, and that's one of the ways that this knowledge is coming out. But actually, a lot of the machine learning knowledge is being locked up. I think we estimate something like 70% at Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Square, Baidu, Alibaba. These big tech companies, mostly in the U.S. and a little bit in China, are dominating machine learning. So we encourage you guys to start to enter this space. Does anybody have any questions? So now we can open it up for discussion on AI in healthcare. I moved a little bit fast through the slides just because I was so excited to get through them. So we have about 15 minutes to chat. No questions on healthcare? Has anybody worked in a hospital before or done any work for them? Where do you work?
My previous office banking.
You worked at a bank?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I forgot. I know you were in one of our other events.
Yeah.
But our company, we have 3 products. One of them is a bank cybersecurity product. Did I show you that one before?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it detects anomalies. So there's like a banking software that almost all banks use. That anytime a bank worker opens up a machine or opens an account or does anything, there's anomaly software that tracks anything they think is strange to make sure people aren't stealing. And then we've developed some AI software that automatically does this.
Oh,
okay. The healthcare app. Let me see if I can. Where is it? I wish I had saved it. We have some products. I don't know if I can show you. Oh, somebody's calling you?
Yeah.
Did it stop Facebook Live, or is Facebook Live still going?
I think it's... No. It's stopping.
It's stopping? Oh,
No.
Okay. Hold on. Let's do this. I can't show you, actually. But I'll show you another time what our healthcare app is doing. But this is some images from our healthcare app. Yeah, basically what you want to do is you're going to upload your healthcare, your x-ray, and right now we have a website for testing, and it's just like a bunch of numbers, and then you upload your x-ray, and then you can see what kind of diseases you have. What industries do you work at?
No, we just from a college student.
Oh, you guys are college students?
Yes.
What year?
What?
What year?
Semester berapa?
Oh, semester 8.
Last year.
Last year.
Oh, okay. That's
Thesis.
a great age. We think a lot of the tech startups in the old spaces, non-AI tech startups like Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, a lot of these companies actually were started by guys in their last years of college, juniors, seniors in college. You can make very, very powerful companies with a very little amount of money and a few guys. I think the Instagram guys, it was less than 12 guys. They had a bunch of laptops and made Instagram, sold it after 18 months for $1 billion. And they sold it way too cheaply, right? So there are very, very powerful tools you can make with just a few guys. A lot of our healthcare app has 3 guys who built it. They built it in 3 weeks. 1 guy is the lead and 2 guys are helping to do small things. These are 2 out of 3 are actually our students from the other batches in Pakistan. And we did this, the first testing version cost us $5 on AWS. We don't have any specialized software, just laptops, AWS account, cost us $5, and we had the knowledge. And NIH gave us the x-rays. And then to make it to the next level, to beat all the other companies in this space, it cost us $300, right? So we created an x-ray reading app that we can now sell to hospitals and other industries for $300, and 3 guys and laptops, right? So that is a very, very powerful product with very, very little investment. So that's just one example of the kinds of things you can do. There was a guy, he was trying to do a deal with us. He owns a hospital here in Jakarta, and he wanted to digitize the records of all the people in his field. So there's a lot of opportunity in this space, especially in Indonesia, because people are very used to using technology, and people are used to leapfrogging. So if you come up with the population here is very young and is very technology savvy and willing to adopt technology faster. In the U.S., a lot of the companies are still a little bit, especially the big companies, and healthcare is very heavily regulated. The regulations in Indonesia are actually lighter than other countries, so the opportunity is pretty significant. One of the students from batch 1, he has his own healthcare company, and his company is like Gojek except for healthcare, and he like sends the doctor to you and will give you your medicines and your vitamins and all that stuff. So that's just one guy in our system who's doing it. He had his own company before he became our student, so he's not like an incubator guy, but he was one of our first students in Indonesia. So there's a lot of activity in the healthcare space, I think. You guys have any other questions? I'm sure I'm probably talking really fast. No? Yeah.
Just want to know that what Evolve really do this? Is this just a boot camp or like really have their own brand?
Yeah, we have our own brand. So basically, if you go to our website, we are only talking right now. We have there's a slide here. Where is it? Let me show you the. We have where is it? Where's the older one? Presentations, date modified. And so like this is a one I did yesterday, AI and property. We have. Let me show. Where is the last one? So this one talks a lot about computer vision and stuff, but this one. So these are students who graduated from our old batches in Pakistan. We have. So basically, this is a slide I wanted to show. It didn't make it in this presentation, but basically, the boot camp is just our way of getting this industry started. Right? It's not our main thing, but in Indonesia, it's our main thing because in Indonesia, there's no machine learning people. So we have to start at the beginning. In the other markets, we're a little bit more advanced. All the money is here. The boot camp we just run to make people machine learning engineers, right? So we charge you money, but it's at cost just to pay for the room and the teacher. The goal for the machine learning boot camp is to make you an engineer. And we know that once you are in our system, you're using our chat system, we are going to get a lot of things from you later. We're going to get the best ideas. We're going to hear what you're saying. You're going to chat with us. We're going to get very, very smart people that are going to do projects. So a lot of the engineers we hire directly, not all of them, but some of them. But we're not a company that we're just going to hire everybody. The smart people don't want to work for us. They want to make their own thing. And we want to help them, right? So there's so many ideas that you guys can pursue. We want to encourage you to do that. But always remember that these things are not solo, single-person things, right? This is not like tennis. This is like football. You need a team to win in this space, right? So the incubators are designed to help you find other people to help form your company and to eliminate all the barriers to make your company successful. You need a little bit of money, you need some technology, so we have servers that we will let you use. But in the beginning, you just need a little bit of money. You can rent the AWS or Microsoft or Google TensorFlow. This is our main thing. So if someone yesterday also asked, well, what is your main focus? Right now in Indonesia, it's this, because nobody is trained in Indonesia right now in this space. But I hope in 6 months it's going to be this. Once we train enough guys, we can then shift our focus. Right now, I spend all my time getting people in and to understand what the opportunity is. I think in 1 year I won't be doing this. I think right now very, very few people really understand AI, so I have to explain it. But I think in 1 year, people right now feels like the internet in 1995, when people didn't really know what the internet was, right? Machine learning, most people still don't believe it. They don't really think it has something to do with them. I had people from Gojek apply to take actually Desi's position. I hired Desi for it. But we had people apply from Gojek to take that position, mid-level guys. And I was talking to them, and Gojek, they don't have their own software development team or engineers in Jakarta. All the engineers are in India. So Indonesia has a very developed market, but a very low engineering talent pool. And it's not like people are not smart. There's tons of smart people. But the engineering talent is underdeveloped. It's the 4th biggest city in the world, right? So we're trying to develop this. And we know that some percent, maybe 70% will go off and get jobs or do something else. But we think 30-40% of the students will make companies with us. And this is what we're trying to do. We can make enough money from 30% of the students who make companies. Because it doesn't cost, the training is cheap. I mean, 40 people in a room, 1 teacher or a thing. But it's a lot of work. You have to work super hard. So we're trying to find really hardworking, smart people. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? All right, well, presentation is, you have another one? You good? Okay, presentation is over. If you have any more questions, come chat with me after. Okay, you guys are free to go.